Coming tonight, I'm going to do a quick introduction and some information, and bear with me. The program tonight is being hosted by the Westland Garden Club. It's a new group. It's small. It's been around for about 3 years, and we're looking for lots of new members. If anybody is interested, there are sign-up sheets here not only for signing up for the library, but there's a sign-up sheet, but there's also a sign-up sheet if you're interested in more information about the garden club. So if you are, please fill it out. We also have flyers here for a spring plant exchange and just information about the garden club if you'd like. Also, that plant exchange is, let me tell you more about it, it's going to be held at the Westland Museum on Saturday, May 15th from 9 to noon. It usually extends beyond that though. And if you don't have any plans to exchange, we are always happy for donations. That money goes right back into the museum for plants and decorations for around the museum. And as a garden club, our main purpose is taking care of the gardens around the museum. That's basically what we do at this point. It's just a small group, but we would sure love to see more people in the group. And that said, let me introduce our speaker. Cheryl English is an advanced master gardener. She is a landscaper and an educator, and she creates pottery with a garden influence. She is very active in the Master Gardeners of Greater Detroit and the Detroit Garden Center and the Greening of Detroit. Along with speaking to groups, she's a very busy lady. She's been on the speaking circuit since 2003, and she has a wealth of knowledge to pass on to us. I don't know if you noticed, but last July in the the Michigan Gardening magazine, they had a feature article about Cheryl. It was 3 pages long. It was all about her yard full of clematis, and that's what our program is on tonight, is the flowering vines. So let's just give a warm welcome to Cheryl.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. I was out in Northville at lunchtime today doing a speaking engagement, so went home, fed the cats, because if I don't go home and feed the cats when I get home at 10 o'clock tonight, they will chew me alive. And then took a quick break and then headed right back out this way again. It's wonderful to see such a large group, and I want to let you know about a couple of opportunities that I am offering. On the 24th of April, from 10 a.m. to noon, I am hosting a clematis pruning workshop. This is a free event. All I ask is you make a small donation for the coffee and bagels I'll have for you to eat if you want. But it's at my house, and if you want to have information on the address, I can give you a business card after the event. It is limited to 25 people. I have about 18 right now that have signed up. So if you're interested, get your bids in. Okay. Another opportunity, I work with the Macomb County Master Gardening Group, and I host a garden tour at my house twice a year. Master Garden Group in Macomb Lucille Day was the person who coordinated this series until her demise last year. It's now the Lucille Day Memorial Garden Tour series, and Linda Carson is coordinating it. And I will be again opening my garden to the public twice this year, on the 15th of May and on, I believe it's the 14th of August, from 10 until 2. And there usually is at least one other garden somewhere near me. I know there's another garden. My friend Marsha's going to have her garden open in Grosse Pointe. Lovely little garden. This is good for, if you're a master gardener, it's good for master gardening hours. My garden, as was said, I have a lot of clematis in my garden. I also am transitioning toward a garden focusing on native plants, both woody plants and herbaceous plants. Woodland varieties, sun varieties, I have tall coreopsis and cup plant, etc. So the reason I schedule my garden tours when I do, early and late in the season, is because we all know what looks great in June. You don't need any help with June. June's easy. Early in the season is kind of a challenge, and late in the season is kind of a challenge, and so that's what I try to bring in some ideas give opportunities to learn about some of the things that you might be able to do to enhance your garden during those times. Also, I'm focusing on the earlier blooming clematis that people don't usually see as much, the small flowering species varieties, and those are times when you can see some of those in their glory.
What was the date in August?
I think it's the 14th. It's the Saturday that's the closest to the 14th.
Where do you live?
I am on the east side of Detroit, near Grosse Pointe Park, very close to Cadieux and Mack, East English Village. I like to think they named it after me, but that would be delusional. If you're interested, just let me know. I'll give you this card or write down my. Should I give you my address?
Yeah.
Okay. 3903 Grayton, Grayton. I notice there's a street called Graytona not far from me. That's Detroit, Michigan. 48224 4003. And my phone number is 313-885-3385. And I just cleared all the messages, so there's plenty of time on the answer sheet.
What did you say your phone number was?
313-885-3385. Tonight we're going to talk about flowering vines to love and avoid. We're going to talk a bit about clematis, but we're going to talk about some other plants as well. And just as it's important to know what you can grow or should grow, it's important to know what you might not be able to grow or what you might not want to grow. And we're going to talk about plants that are very desirable, and we're also going to talk about some plants that you might consider not including in your garden because they're thugs. I'm going to start off. This is my front yard. Green roof, green car, green bench, green shutters. What's my favorite color? That was when I was a kid. This is blue light clematis. This is an early flowering hybrid. This is Robert Bryan, which is a Heraclifolia type that gets up about 8 to 10 feet, except that I only have a 5-foot tour, so she has a lovely cascading habit in my yard. This bloom here is an Integrafolia. Both the Integrafolias and the Heraclifolias are non-vining species of clematis that are considered herbaceous or perennials. They die to the ground every year, and over time they develop a nice woody crown. Especially with the Heraclifolias, they are relatively late to wake up. They bloom late in the season, and if you stay up late at night, you don't want to get up early in the morning. So they're kind of the Julia Child of clematis. This is along the side of my house, along my neighbor Daryl's driveway. Wonderful, wonderful family next door. And although I don't get to see this very much, I know my neighbors enjoy it. In fact, they enjoy it so much that when they had to put a gate across, because they have 2 lovely small Yorkies, and I'm not a small dog person, let me tell you. But Max and Pepper are just delightful, and Pepper just thinks I'm great, so obviously he's a dog with great taste. I suggested that we put the gate across so that they could just open the door from their house and the dogs could go back. It would be more convenient. And I was okay with this. It was going to disrupt the garden a little bit, but Daryl and Carol decided that no, they weren't going to do that, and they put the gate across back here so that the gardens wouldn't be disturbed, which I thought was very generous. This is a Montana type clematis. This is Clematis ceracea. The Montanas are huge plants, 30 feet usually. Also we have, this is an alpina here called Willie's, name of the variety. This is an early blooming type. Small flowers, but you know what, when you have a couple hundred flowers, who cares how small they are? This here is a rogue. It was supposed to be Purple Spider, but Purple Spider died, and now it's Bill McKenzie. Now, Bill McKenzie used to live in my backyard next to Joe Pye. Bill tried to kill Joe. So we evicted Bill, but apparently one of his progeny is currently living right here. But we'll be seeing to that maybe this year. I haven't pulled him out yet because Evan has me to put there instead. What's nice about the Tangaticas, and that's what Bill McKenzie is, a Tangatica orientalis hybrid. They're pretty big plants, they are aggressive plants, and they have yellow flowers, which is quite unusual in the clematis family.